So while things are going very smoothly in the league, today we're taking on Woking FC from the Vanarama National League in the FA Trophy 4th round, and I'm not sure that's going to go quite as well. Let's just get into it. So we're starting this episode with the Integro League Cup quarter-final draw. This is quite a big moment. We've got some national Premier teams in here, but considering some of the opposition we've beat lately and what we consider a challenge, like Woking coming up, I think we're in a very good standing against a lot of these teams. If we do, we'll just do an automatic draw. There's only 4 matches. Bamber Bridge or Matlock against Histon or Wroxham. Warrington Rylands or Stockland against Kersnash and Lancaster. Hyde or the City of Liverpool against Mossley or Boston United, which means Stalybridge, Celtic FC or Ossett United are playing Wythenshawe Town or us. So obviously we need to get through the match against Wythenshawe first, which hasn't happened yet at this time of recording. But if all goes well, we'll be playing Stalybridge Celtic FC or Ossett United in the next round. We're actually playing the game against Wythenshawe Town today in game. So Stalybridge Celtic FC or Ossett United await us in the quarter-final if we manage to get there. And as a result of the discussions with him around not playing enough, Demetrius Rami has handed in a transfer request. Hopefully I can keep him to the end of the season. But like I said, we've sort of replaced him multiple times over at this point. So, I mean, he's played 10 times for us this season. He's definitely been useful to have around the club. But it won't be the end of the world if he does manage to get the move away. Okay, disregard that entire last clip. It looks like he's going to be going probably. He's very interested in joining the fantastically named Cockfosters. They're top of the tier above us. No, that's the tier below us. So, yeah. A little annoying, but he's probably going to be off. I'm just going to accept all of these offers. We'll see where he goes. We either pay 10% of his wages. Actually, no, you know what? He's not going on loan. He's going to be leaving. That's fine. And now everything's going wrong. Game on Moncrief is also kicking off that he wants more first team football. I mean, I've been playing him quite a lot recently. He's also only played 10 games, but he's played a lot in the cup, and I feel like that's enough. It's just sort of he's gone from like a main man to a rotation option in a front 3 almost. So I can sort of see why he's annoyed, but Yeboah is too good to not be our star man. And the way that Lusaquaina's playing this season, I've just had to sort of play him, and I really don't want to let Moncrief go. He's got another year on his contract, so it's not like he's going to be just out the door straight away or anything. I'm definitely not going to accept any bids for him. And I'm just sort of hoping that at some point I can get him back in the good books. I am going to start him a lot more now that this has happened, though. Jeez. So Demetrius Rami is going to be leaving us. It's a little bit depressing, but it was definitely coming. I mean, looking at the reports, we've currently got Callum West, who's literally out on loan because he's not good enough to get in the team, who's ranked higher than him. But yeah, he's definitely fallen well down the pecking order this season. And I think we've kind of got to the point where he's just not that relevant anymore. Like, he's played 13 times, 5 times off the bench, 2 goals, 1 assist and a 6.89 average rating. He's a very good depth option for us, and I think that's mostly why I don't really want to let him go. But he was never going to sign a new contract for next season anyway. And with the signings that we've made, I don't think I would have tried to get him to. So we're just going to be letting him go a little bit earlier than planned, it looks like. So we're finally up until the point where our next game is going to be against Woking FC. It's tomorrow at 3 o'clock. So let's get caught up on the games that have happened since the last time you were here. So obviously we had that 4-0 victory to Dartford. Absolutely fantastic game. I was so surprised that we dealt with them so comfortably. I mean, very much helped by 2 penalties, but still, they didn't really create much the entire game. And I definitely thought after this game, oh, we're on a run. We are going to tear these leagues apart. And then we came up against Wythenshawe Town. Wythenshawe Town, as I said before, are basically the same tier as us. They're in 8th, so technically we are a better side. We're doing better in our league than the top of their league, and they're comfortably behind them. So I thought this would be a relatively easy win. But I still played a pretty full-strength side, and the game sort of went back and forth quite a lot. But we ended up losing 4-3. I mean, if you look at the XG, we had 2, they had 1.73, and they still managed to beat us. Let's have a look at the goals. So it all started off, Gofford long ball over to Yeboah, managed to cross it in. Oh no, he got it to Wilson, who crossed it in, and Moncrief finished it off. But then a couple of minutes later, Broadhead put Kozilo over, and Bickerstaff manages to poke it past Jackson in net. I think Jackson did get a touch on it, but that was all he could manage. But then we took the lead again. Things were looking good. Wilson chests it down and absolutely rockets it into the corner. I was going mental when that happened. And then we had a long quiet period until the 63rd minute when a long ball over was picked up by Moore, and he managed to score at the near post. Jackson really should have done better with that one, I feel. But then not long after that, long ball to the back post, just sort of looped over the keeper. And this is where the worrying started. But then, a couple of minutes later, long ball up, Moncrief wins a header, which is miraculous on its own, and Lusuqueno calmly volleys it over the keeper. But it was all a bit too good to be true. And then in the 89th minute, Bickerstaff got the ball here, slotted it past Tommy Jackson in the net, and all hope was gone, quite frankly. We had the typical end-of-game outcome where you go very attacking to try and nick a goal, and absolutely nothing happens. But despite that loss, in the next game against Boldmere, we managed to sneak out a 1-0 win. We were very dominant, as is quite often the case in all games apart from that last one. We had 7 shots on target. They only managed 1 on target. They didn't even get 1 XG. It was not a good performance from them at all. They did very little for most of the game. The goal came from a barrel throw-in. Mills managed to get a cross in. It comes to Lusuqueno, and he just slots it in the bottom corner. Pretty quick finish, and the keeper didn't stand a chance. And from there, it never really looked like anything other than a victory. So after the Boldmere game, Sleaford Town came to Pat Meadow. Now, Sleaford Town are in second. They're the team chasing us in the league. And to be honest, I probably should have come back for this game, maybe done a double header. I think because we've put so little focus on the league in videos, I haven't paid so much attention to who our nearest rivals are and completely just glossed over the fact that we were playing them so close. But a comfortable 3-0 win in the end, and largely thanks to a great aerial performance from Lusuqueno. First goal came in, Morehouse running down the wing, managed to get past everyone, and a deflected pass falls to Lusuqueno at the back post, nods it in. And then a Piggott throw-in, falls to S, managed to get the ball in, and Lusuqueno beats the keeper to it. Just a very comfortable 2-0 lead at that point. Cherry on the top, Mills picks up the ball on the wing, puts it to Ratchford, and S ends up slotting it in the cross. Very good win for us. They did look a little bit dangerous at times, but with the goals we'd scored, it wasn't too dangerous. And after lengthening the gap at the top of the league, we took that momentum into a game against Loughborough. Loughborough did not know what hit them. 6 goals and an absolutely brilliant performance. A hat-trick from Lusuqueno. 2 goals for Morehouse. It was just so dominant everywhere. Morehouse got the ball down to S. Managed to cross it in. Bit of a mix-up at the near post, but Waldo was at the back post to knock it in. Then Lusuqueno picks up the ball. He gets tackled, but Morehouse picks it up and manages to just walk straight through the team and slot it into the bottom corner. Then Ratchford picks up the ball, manages to get a ball over to S, and just a absolutely lovely volleyed cross. And Lusuqueno was so unlucky to not finish with his first attempt, but he managed to follow up the rebound quite nicely. They did get a goal back here. Campbell Malope getting a header at the back stick. But then we had a late flurry of goals with S picking up the ball on the wing, and Lusuqueno once again hits the woodwork but manages to pop it in. His first time finishing was not on point this game up until this point. Ratchford then got the ball, it ended up getting crossed in, and Morehouse just rockets it in to the side of the net. And then Morehouse picks up the ball, Lane puts a long ball over, Lusuqueno redeems himself for his last couple of failed first attempts and puts that one away. It ended up being 3 goals in 3 minutes at the end. It was just an absolute onslaught to secure the victory, and overall was just a brilliant performance. And that brings us to today's game against Woking FC in the FA Trophy 4th round. I mean, they're not top of the Vanarama National League anymore, but they're in contention. They've got a game in hand, so they probably should be. Let's have a look at their recent results. They've had a couple of bad results, but a 4-0 loss to Arsenal is nothing to really be too disappointed about. The 2-1 loss to Gateshead probably isn't brilliant for them. Where were Gateshead in the league? 9th. So not a bad side, but they have only won 1 of their last 6 games. So that gives me some hope at the very least. In fact, it's kind of weird that they're doing so well in the league because they haven't really been able to put together much consistent league form. I mean, Jason Lowe's their captain. He's on £1,000 a week. That's like, what's our wage budget? Our wage budget is £2,000 a week for the entire team. Oh, look at him. Look at him. I would bite someone's hand off to have those sort of mentals in my first team. This is going to take quite a feat. Before we do get to the match, I'll just have a quick update on how the league is going for us, and it is actually going very well. We've played 1 game more than Stamford in second, but we're currently 22 points clear, so we're only extending our lead at the top, and there's not really much any of the teams can do to catch us at this point. I mean, we've got 14 games left in the season, And to make up a 22-point gap in that time is a little nuts. And I think the rest of the season is going to be pretty comfortable for us. It's also quite interesting to note, we just haven't got anyone in the top scorers list for the league this season, which is very unusual, especially considering how good our goal difference is compared to everyone else. We've got quite a few in the top 20 or so. Lusaquena's 5th, Yaboa's in 9th, and Moncrief's in 16th. So our position is very much down to a team effort rather than in past sides. It's basically been the entire team carried by Kemal Moncrief. And I think this is how we're going to be lining up today. So relatively straightforward back line. You know, we've got Jackson in goal, Maguire, Lane, Gofford and Piggott across the back, S, Morehouse, Ratchford and Waldo in midfield. But then I've gone with Lusaquena and Moncrief up front. And I mean, Yeboah has been our best striker across all competitions in the season. But his last 5 games, he's had a 6.56. He hasn't really performed in any of them. I think he's nicked the occasional goal here and there, but he has not been the player that he was for most of the season so far. So we're gonna take a risk. We'll go with Moncrief and Lusaquena up front. Quite frankly, I think this game is more going to come down to our defensive and midfield abilities and just taking a chance when we can. And I think either of these two can. And Matty Lusaquena is probably where most of my hopes are going. Feels weird saying that when I've got these 2 other strikers, but let's just get into it and give it a go. Right, team talk. Want to pick up where you left off last time. Let's outstretched arms. Everyone should be delighted. No one is delighted. Absolutely no one is delighted. Midfield, defenders and attackers, I'm going to give you a little boost. And here we go. So Woking are in a 4-2-3-1, a formation that seems to be quite popular between the Vanarama National and North and South teams. We seem to come up against it quite often, and I mean quite often it also really destroys us. So a little bit concerning. So starting off with a highlight for them potentially. Umara gets the ball. They're just knocking around midfield. They don't seem to be in any real urgent. Okay, there we go. As soon as I call them out, Piggott picks it up, gets it back to Jackson, who clears it away. There's no one. Oh, there is someone over here. It's a Quano, I believe. That's Moncrief. But they're still knocking it around. Williams gets it out to Moss. He's going to get a cross in here. It's a free header and it just goes wide. It's quite lucky because Tommy Jackson did not look like he was getting to that. So now we've got Brown. It's all been them in this first 8 minutes so far. Okay, he's managed to turn our players. He's making a run. He's ran straight through the entire team, but Tommy Jackson makes the save. Puts it out for a corner, but it's much better than a goal. I was definitely resigning myself to that going in. Now rolls with the corner. Goes to the back post, and we put it out for another corner. It's a lot of pressure. I really hope we can just sort of get this out and make a break at some point, but ball goes in, and Jackson comes and collects it. Okay, that could have been a lot scarier than it turned out to be. Now we've got a free kick. Gofford with trying a long ball over, but Moncrief just wasn't paying attention. And now Draper comes out with it. A very long ball over. Brown gets it. Tommy Jackson. What happened there with Tommy Jackson's AI? Like, he comes out, he makes the challenge. The ball ends up in a position where they're probably as close to each other to it. Like, let me just pause this at the right moment. Jackson gets the block. And at that point, Brown sort of stops, and Jackson is still running, makes a couple of steps, and then starts just backpedaling. If that's the goal that we end up going out to, I am not going to be happy. Now they've got the ball. Lockett's running down the wing again. Can we get the tackle in here? No. Great tackle there by Morehouse, but it still falls to them. Rolls has got the ball free in the edge of the area, and he managed to slot it in the top corner. Oh, this has been a terrible start for us. When Morehouse gets this tackle in there, and I thought he'd got the ball out to S on the right. He's just not really getting involved, but I suppose that's his role. 2-0. We haven't really created anything yet at this point. It might be a bit controversial. I'm bringing it back to balance. We need more men back and in the middle. And it seems to have evened things out at the very least, but... Okay, now we've got a Maguire throw-in the 43rd minute. Lusaquena gets the ball in. S at the back post. He gets a header, and he's hit the bar, and he's hit it wide. Oh no, that was such an easy challenge. Then Lusaquena touches the ball for no reason to give them a throw-in. Fantastic. So it's half time. It's 2-0. Give the fans a performance to cheer about. believe you can still improve. I believe you can still improve. We just really need to get something out of this. And we've got a free kick early in the second half, 46th minute. Gofford steps up. Could he be trying to curl this in the near post? And he does exactly that, and it hits the post. Oh, that was such a big moment. Look at the team comparison. They're all on green ratings. Like, our best player is Jack Morehouse with a 6.7. We're going to have to change something up here. I'm just like, how attacking do I want to go? Who's been the worst out the wingers? Waldo hasn't done much. So let's just go for it. But Luciqueno on the right, Moncrief in the middle, and Yeboah up front. These two could be attacking forwards. He can be a poacher. I just think out of the three, that most of the long balls seem to go into one of these areas. So I'm going to swap these over. You can still be a deep line playmaker on support, but I want Morehouse to be more of a Mazzala, so he covers that wide area as well. On support still. Can Maguire play a little further up? I'm going to go with it. This is a very unorthodox formation, but I don't want to leave that entire our left wing completely bare. So moving Maguire up a little bit, sort of maybe counters that. I don't know if it will. I'm going to move back to positive. I'm going to move more to very direct. Oh, they've got a free kick. Managed to get it away temporarily, but Umara picks it up. Now Rue's running in. Gets it to Williams. And Piggott gets it away. Now S has got a chance to start a counter-attack. We've got Moncrief can flick that on. Luciqueno's 2 on goal. Can he get something from this? I mean, the defenders have managed to get back and cover, and Luciqueno panics and suddenly has flashbacks to his childhood playing rugby. Right, Dodgson with a long ball up. We're suddenly seeming a little bit better, but these long balls just aren't connecting. Morehouse managed to get it, but he can't. Morehouse seems to be very good at making the intercepting or tackling touch, but then where he tries to kick it to never seems to work out. Okay, a bit of pressure there, but Ince picks it up. Brown, Umara, Harris. Really looking at someone to close these down, but not give away another goal. Ball over. Williams picks it up, and it's a goal. Oh, this is not going well. And I mean, did I think it was going to go well? Probably not. But I was hoping we might have a bit more of a spine to us at this point. Moncrief has been apparently playing absolutely terrible. I am going to take him off and maybe put Helliwell on, move him back a bit. Maybe swap those over because Helliwell can play Mazzala quite well, and Jack Morehouse is still a very good attacking midfielder. I don't know if this is going to work or well. It's not going to make any difference. I very much doubt, but it's worth a shot. Yeboah does pick up the ball though. Could he put? Oh, it was offside. That looked like such a good opportunity for us. Now they've got a free kick. They're going to put it into the box. They get it, and I've just resigned to being 4-0 down at that point. This is such a strange formation I'm playing. I don't like playing. I don't like trying to come up with formations on the fly. Because this is quite often the outcome. I mean, seem to lose focus. Fuck it, I'm having a go at you. I'm furious with your defensive. I probably shouldn't have said that. People are going to be demoralised for the next game now. But hey, that's all the cups are out of, and we've got a 22-point lead at the top of the league that we can worry about. Defeat in the 4th round. What were the other fixtures? Were there any surprises? So the only team that is not in a Vanarama National League or South League that is still in the competition is Lancaster, and that's because their game got postponed. So Vanarama absolutely wiped the floor with all of the non-Vanarama competition there. So that's a bit of bad luck for us. On the plus side, at least, Stamford drew with Shepshed, which means they've only gained 1 point on us. And Sleaford Town, who had the chance of going back into second place, lost to Town Rangers. So at least that's one good bit of news, I suppose. So with another tournament ending in disaster for us, that's the 4th qualifying round of the FA Cup, the 4th round of the FA Trophy, and the 4th round of the Integro League Cup that we've been knocked out of now. That is crazy consistency from us, I will say, at the very least. Looking ahead to the next episode, where am I going to come back? Because I'm really not sure. We've potentially got a game against the God Manchester Rovers there. They did beat us last time, didn't they? Yeah, it was a 3-2 win to them, so we could be out for blood there. Harborough beat us, but they are Harborough. I think we're one of the only teams in the division they did manage to beat. Actually, I mean they've won 5 games all season, and one of them was against us. So that's a little bit embarrassing for us. So we might come back for the God Manchester Rovers game, or depending on how the league looks. So the Chase Town game could be to win the league. I think one of these two, depending on how games go, are going to be for us to win the league, as long as Stamford keep winning their games at the very least. So we will be back at some point where we've got a chance of winning the league, unless it all falls apart, in which case you will probably just have a 30-minute video of me sitting on the floor weeping, quite frankly. So you can look forward to that. But yeah, until then, thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed, maybe leave a like or comment down below. It really does help out a great deal, and it means a hell of a lot to me as well. Subscribe to make sure you see us hopefully lift a trophy or see a 33-year-old man have a mental breakdown. One of the two, whatever you're into. And I'll see you next time.